Now we will discuss about the anomalous properties of nitrogen with the rest of the elements in the group. Nitrogen shows anomalous properties, means it shows abnormal behavior with the rest of the elements. Rest of the elements we have phosphorus, arsenic, antimony and bismuth. The reason to show anomalous property, nitrogen has smallest size. It is highly electronegative elements. It has highest value of ionization enthalpy and it has no vacant d orbitals. I have written this information on the board. You can see nitrogen has smallest size and it is highly electronegative elements. We have learned electronegativity is inversely proportional to size. As the size decreases, electronegativity increases. Then we have next ionization enthalpy. It has highest value of ionization enthalpy in the group. Okay, ionization enthalpy is also inversely proportional to size and it is directly proportional to nucleus charge. Okay, it has no vacant d orbital. If you write the electronic configuration of nitrogen, it has atomic number 7. Electronic configuration we have 1s2, it is 2s2 and it is 2p3. It does not have 2d orbital because 2d orbital does not exist. Okay, so now these are some unique properties shown by nitrogen. That's why it shows abnormal behavior with the rest of the elements. Now let's discuss about some other properties also. Okay, if we talk about the physical state, you can see physical state. Nitrogen, it is present in the gaseous state while the rest of the elements are present in the solid state. Rest of the elements in the group are present in the solid state. Keep in mind this phosphorus. This phosphorus is present in the solid state but easily it evaporates. That's why it is always stored in a closed bottle. Okay. Now next information we have type of molecule. Nitrogen is present in diatomic form. Diatomic form, like say we have nitrogen gas, and next we have phosphorus, arsenic and antimony. Especially these elements, phosphorus, arsenic and antimony, they are present in tetraatomic form. We have like P4. Okay, 4 atoms are condensed together to form a large molecule. Okay, bismuth is a metal, that's why it is present in monoatomic form. Metal do not connect. Okay, metal do not combine. Non-metal they can combine together to form a large molecule. Okay, so keep in mind it is present in diatomic form and these elements are present in tetraatomic form and bismuth is present in monoatomic form. Now let's discuss about some more other properties. Next we have bond strength. Nitrogen is present in diatomic form and these elements are present in the tetraatomic form. I have drawn the structure also. You can see between nitrogen atoms triple bond is there, bond order is 3, but in this case between phosphorus and phosphorus you can see single bond is there. If we talk about the bond strength, this is nitrogen and we have nitrogen. Okay, nitrogen bond is there. We have phosphorus and phosphorus bond. Now pay attention very carefully. You can see each nitrogen has one lone pair. In this case also each phosphorus has one lone pair. If you look at the structure, lone pair is there, lone pair is there, here also lone pair is there, lone pairs. Okay, because they are forming 3 bond. Each phosphorus is forming 3 bond, each nitrogen is forming 3 bond, then obviously they will have one lone pair. Okay, since the nitrogen is having smallest size, so that's why these lone pairs are closer to each other. They are causing repulsion, as a result there is a strain in this bond and that's why bond dissociation enthalpy decreases. Okay, bond dissociation enthalpy decreases, there is a strain, that's why bond strength decreases. But in this case phosphorus is having larger size than nitrogen, that's why these lone pairs are far away, they do not cause that much repulsion. This is the reason bond strength in phosphorus is higher than the bond strength in nitrogen. Okay, keep in mind. Okay, that's why this phosphorus is having higher catenation property than nitrogen. Higher is the bond strength, higher is the catenation property. Okay, now we talk about the vacant d orbitals. Okay, so as we have seen, nitrogen does not have any vacant d orbital. This is the reason NCl3 is possible, but NCl5 is not possible. It cannot form 5 bonds. It does not do the extended overlapping. Due to the presence of vacant d orbital, if we talk about phosphorus, it has 15 atomic numbers. Then in this case we get 1s2, 2s2 and it is 2p6, it is 3s2 and it is 3p3, but 3d is present, completely vacant orbital is there. weakened orbitals. Okay, so in this case they can do the extended overlapping. As a result, they can form triatomic, and as well as we are having trihalide and pentahalide also. Both kind of compounds they can form easily. Okay, so these elements, especially phosphorus, arsenic, antimony, okay, they can form these kind of halides also, trihalide as well as pentahalide. Due to the absence of vacant d orbital, pentahalides formed by nitrogen are not possible because it cannot do the extended overlapping. Only trihalides are possible. Now let's discuss about some more other properties. Next we have metallic character. Nitrogen is highly electronegative elements in the group, that's why it is non-metal. Okay, it shows non-metallic characters, non-metal by nature. Okay, next we have phosphorus. Phosphorus is also a non-metal. Phosphorus is also non-metal, but if you talk about arsenic and antimony, they are having metallides character. Metallides means they can show both metallic as well as non-metallic characters. But if you talk about, we have bismuth, it is a metal. It is a metal. It shows metallic characters. Okay, so you can see they are showing different properties. Okay, now we have oxidation state. Okay, as we have seen in oxidation state, the range of oxidation state for this group elements, we have -3 to +5. Minimum oxidation state is -3 and maximum oxidation state is +5. Nitrogen shows a variety of oxidation state because it forms various kind of oxides. Okay, it can show -3, -2, -1, 0, +1, +2, +3, +4, +5. Unlike rest of the elements, these elements cannot show the oxidation state as much as nitrogen. Okay, so you can see nitrogen can show -3, -2, -1, 0. Then we have +1, +2 and +3 and +4 and +5 oxidation state. Variety of oxidation state it can show. But if we talk about these elements in general, they show -3 oxidation state, then they go for the +3 oxidation state, yeah, +5 oxidation state. Most of the compounds you will get for these elements present either in +3 or +5 oxidation state. Tendency to show -3 oxidation state in this group when we go down from top to bottom decreases. Okay, as we have learned, stability of +5 oxidation state going down decreases, and stability of +3 oxidation state increases down the group due to inert pair effect. Let's discuss about some more other properties. The next property is basic character. If we talk about the basic character in the hydrides of this group elements, we have learned basic character is directly proportional to electronegativity. Higher is the electronegativity of an elements, higher is the basic character. In hydrides, if we talk about ammonia, in case of ammonia you can see nitrogen is highly electronegative. That's why it has more tendency of pulling the electron density from hydrogen. That's why as a result you can see this electron density will be increasing, and as the lone pair electron density increases, basic character also increases. It is highly basic in nature when you talk about the hydrides of this group elements. But these elements hydrides are less basic in nature. pH3 is there, and then we have arsenic hydride is there, antimony hydride is there. Okay, and then we have bismuth hydride is there. Okay, so this is the reason we have. The hydride of nitrogen is highly basic in nature because nitrogen is highly electronegative by nature. If we talk about the stability of hydrides, okay, stability of hydrides. If you look at the molecule, we have ammonia molecule. Okay, this is the hydride of nitrogen. Okay, NH3 is there. In this case, you can see hydrogen bonding is present. Hydrogen bonding, H bonding is present. Okay, but the rest of the elements do not have hydrogen bonding. Rest of the elements do not have hydrogen bonding. Okay, they do not have hydrogen bonding. Due to the absence of hydrogen bondings, they are less stable. But if you talk about ammonia, it is highly stable because hydrogen bonding is there. Comparatively, ammonia is more stable than these hydrides because it has hydrogen bonding. Okay, hydrogen bonding is dominating intermolecular force. Okay, intermolecular force, they have intermolecular force, but hydrogen bonding is dominating intermolecular force. That's why it is more stable. Move on to the next property. Next we have types of bond. Nitrogen is highly electronegative elements and it does not have vacant d orbital. This is the reason nitrogen forms p-pi type bond. Okay, p-pi type bond. It does not have vacant d orbital, it has only p orbital. Okay, but if we talk about these elements, they are having vacant d orbital also. This is the reason they can form p-pi and d-pi type bond. P-pi and d-pi type bond. How they are forming these kind of bonds, we will have different lecture on it, because we need to take some examples also. Some concept is there, it will take some time to explain. Okay, now we have the type of oxides. Okay, so type of oxides. Nitrogen shows anomalous properties with rest of the elements, that's why it will show different type of oxides also. Okay, nitrogen forms monomeric oxide. Let me write here, monomeric oxide. If we talk about specifically phosphorus, it forms dimeric oxide. We can take some example. For example, we have N2O, NO, and then we get N2O4. But in this case, we have P4O6, P4O8, and P4, it is O10. Okay, the oxides of nitrogen do not undergo dimerization, means one molecule will not combine with another molecule to form a large molecule. Okay, they undergo dimerization because they want to be in a stable state. They do not undergo dimerization, that's why they are present in monomeric form. Okay, but if we talk about the oxides of phosphorus, they undergo dimerization. For example, we have P4O6 is there, so we get 2P2O3 is there. Okay, this molecule P2O3 undergoes dimerization. Two molecules condense together to form a large molecule. We get P4O6. Okay, then we have P2O4 is there, multiplied by 2, then we get P4O8 is there, and then we have P2O5 multiplied by 2, then we get P4O10 is there. So these oxides are due to the result of dimerization. Okay, these oxides are the result of dimerization.